the previs was good because the previs gives you, whether it was beginning, before we even started doing anything, you get an idea of the film, but before scenes, you could look at the previs and it would give you an idea of aspects of distances, sizes, and what have you. And of course, you get a basic idea of what's going on, where things are. And then you had the greatest benefit for us. You know, you'd have tape or a tennis ball or a laser or what have you, and you know your imagination goes. But we had a first AD, Cliff Lanning, that was probably the greatest gift for the whole deal because he was so good at what he does, and he's known for being so good like this. He's got all this energy, and he's involved, and he takes care of us, and he's just a good human being. And he constantly had us energized and alive, and he kept us very in tune with exactly what was going on. We always knew what was happening when Cliff was on that microphone, and that made it. That was 90% of my imagination right there. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't overstate his contribution to this because it can get. You're basically looking at a little laser dot and have these sort of huge emotions, and he does it in such a joyous way. We would not have been able to do it without him.
Yeah. It's Godzilla. 10-year-old me said, yes, Kyle, it's Godzilla.
Yeah, I the huge attraction for me was I had just never been in anything, remotely like this. I wanted to see what it was like to do one of these big movies, and there's a real kind of joy to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Godzilla, and it's not lost on me who the star of the movie is. But other than Millie Bobby Brown, there's Godzilla. but there's got to be heart to the story. If there's no heart to the story, the monsters don't mean anything. There's got to be, and as far as playing family, I understand family. I have a family, and that's those dynamics are really nice to play. And Millie Bobby Brown's a wonderful actress. Vera Farmiga, I get to work. It all just worked in that way. It was wonderful. And look, I'm so blessed to have a variety of things that I do. This came before Catch. This was
2 years ago?
Yeah, this is 2 years ago. So I went from this to Catch-22 to the next thing that I'm looking at. Just a little small project, very intimate. It's just we're just blessed you get to do all these different things. And it's nice to bounce around and get back to your roots with the independence and what have you. You know how it goes. It's a giant film. It's
we were saying before, there is such a strong emotional family story. It's almost, I would joke to myself that it was kind of like Kramer versus Godzilla. kind of what's going on. We were talking, can I?
Yes.
It's that Mastodon thing that it never occurred to me when we were shooting.
We never saw him before.
No, never saw him. I don't know. Is there a name? Some people were applauding.
Yeah, they might have thought he was like Snuffle Up against or something.
Yeah. But I'm intrigued.
We figured his name is
Tom.
Kyle, for you?
Phil.
I like the big guy too. At first I like Adore because as a little kid you go and you look at the shelf and you're like, man, I want the one with the most moving pieces. Dora, 3 heads, the whole deal. But I sort of dug the big Mastodon dude. He was just sort of I like him.
Yeah.
I like his style.
It's nice to see a little fur out there.
Hi. Hi.
I think I am. Wasn't that, we made that up.
That's probably, he's funny. Hey, Bradley probably made that up on the spot.
I think I may have thrown that in.
We'll give that to Bradley. That's Bradley.
Great show then.
But you're always looking for, like, you do not, everybody is looking for moments where you can break tension with humor, because you don't want an irony deficient 2.5 hours, ever. Sort of single, like, overly sardonic, bitter people who you don't want to see have relationships. That's my wheelhouse. Yeah, I honestly don't know. Like when people, it used to be worse when I had just done a whole series of just horrible human beings. And people meet me and they think I'm like Ted Bundy or something. Not a tough room. I don't know why I get those parts, but they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, you know, I had never done anything remotely, you know, a story about this stuff. So it feels a little artificial at first, but then you realize, you know, you're in a Godzilla movie and you just have to, you know, kind of check yourself into it.
Senator, I agree with what he said.
Kyle, also because you're such a good-looking guy, do you ever feel typecast by the way you look? Like people want you to be the strong, upstanding, decent guy as opposed to Bradley.
Yeah, this is a question I've never gotten.
Good one.
No, I get it.
Well, we're going toward
Is it tough to be beautiful?
Yeah. It's not easy.
I know.
It's just, when I was watching the movie last night, I can see where my guy comes off pretty strong at first. It's different. You know, a lot of things these are big movies, and they're big scripts, and these big scripts have to be cut down. I think I don't know how many pages the script is originally, but so things get trimmed down, and so some of the things that you work for don't necessarily work. And I thought at the beginning, my character he's big and he's angry. It was justified to me because look, I'll justify it for you. I had been part of this. My backstory is I've been part of this group. I've been part of all these people before, and I left it. And some of the characters I knew in the very first scene intimately. Later on, it changed where I didn't know them. Like I say, who are you? But originally, like Thomas's character, we knew each other from the first one, and he turned on me to keep my wife involved. There were things going on, so I didn't like him. And when they first land back down, I know there's bad things going on. That I know my daughter has been kidnapped and taken by this group? No, but I directly blame the people in this room because I knew that they were going to cause problems. I knew my wife was going to cause problems, and she's got my daughter. So that's where that comes from, and then it just carries on. You know, that's what happens. So that was the choice I made. You know, I'm angry at this group. I'm angry at the world. I'm angry at the loss of my child. I don't trust any of these people, and you know, damn it, but I have to go with you, and I got to find my daughter. So.
As well as the other part of the question.
Yeah, I think I'm all right looking. Not that I know of, they don't tell me that.
Over here?
We
You
asked
guys should get a room, man. I feel like there's the reason this story keeps getting retold twice a generation is there's, you know, at our reptilian brain stems, there are, you know, it's a story about man's arrogance, thinking that they have transcended nature, and obviously this is an important time to talk about how humanity can disrupt order in the world. But, you know, it came out of this humanitarian environmental disaster, was the birth of Godzilla. And I think that's why it needs to sort of keep being told.
Well,
You don't need to talk, you just.
if you look, I mean, it sounds to me, it's Godzilla, and these are heavy questions. Every decade or so, when these Godzilla films come out, if you look at it, whatever's going on in the culture around the world, that's sort of integrated into the story of Godzilla, because Godzilla basically is the wake-up call. When he comes to life, something's wrong, he's telling people, wake up, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing to the world, to yourselves, what have you. So he'll live forever. I mean, he can always, we need him to come thump us. Yeah, come thump us in the head, as my wife says. It's a thump in the head moment when Godzilla shows up. So. That's the inner child in us. We just love monster movies.
Wow. I agree. Listen, I think monster movies and horror movies are ways for us to process stuff that is very scary to talk about, and we sort of process it in an entertaining way. But they're about fundamental existential fears, and horror movies are about shit we can't talk about. Death, sexuality, race. They're, I think, a very effective sort of cultural way of sort of dealing with questions that we can't talk about directly.
All I can say is it was a great group of people that got together, and it was a long shoot. There was a lot of challenges. It was a lot of hard days of working, a lot of fun days of working. It was it was a film set. It's work. It's family. It became family.
I did get, this is an extraordinary group of actors. Sally Hawkins, Anthony Ramos. These phenomenal actors. And for me, honestly, the biggest joy of it is, actors are our tribe, and it's the time in between the story you think you're telling, where you're hanging out with you and Middleditch, and you're kind of with your tribe. Actors, I love actors, and they're a lot of fun, and they're interesting, and that's always sort of the biggest joy out of anything. But in this was really striking, this particular group of actors, and Aisha, just these wonderful people everywhere you turn. Yeah,
it was a good group of people, so it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. My career goal has always been to make enough money to die in a single room. And I'm almost there. I just don't want another family there. I don't know why I'm fixated on it. Listen, I know Kyle feels the same way. No, not about that. But we are very, very lucky to get the opportunities we get to do. I always say it's a miracle to do something that isn't humiliating. It's a miracle to do something that works. It's a miracle to do something that is embraced by the public. I just want to do as many radically different things as possible. I always feel like I get frustrated by genres because my life is a mashup of genres. I can't tell if this is a horror movie or a farce or a very profound drama. So I like to pop around the genres just because it feels more like my life. But there's nothing specific. There's nothing. I just sort of want to react to the last thing I did and kind of try and do something different.
Okay, one more?
This is for Bradley. If it came down to it, would you go for Godzilla or Merman?
What I had with the merman was profound and very deep, very personal, and it's not something I'm really comfortable talking about.
Thank you very much.
Is it
That's
over?
it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
free.
You're free.